Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Chili Sports Cards here. I wanted to talk about SGC a little bit, and I wanted to talk about my channel. Just recently in the last, I'd say, week or so, I've noticed a lot of people really jumping on board with SGC. They're starting to be a lot more popular. People are seeking out that knowledge and information about the grading company. They're doing their own research and they're watching videos, which is a great thing. I think that a lot of people are sending in their cards for the first time to SGC, and I couldn't be happier about it because I support SGC. I think that, you know, overall they're the best grading card, you know, company to use, and I've been preaching them for a while, and a lot of other people have too. And as you can see right here in front of you, they do not just grade old cards, guys. They grade new cards, and they grade them really nice, you know? I mean, if you take a look at something like this right here, this, look at that card, man. I mean, can you ask for anything more? It would be nice to, you know, get a PSA slab and a Beckett slab and have the same card in them and put them all side by side, so you could just really see the difference in the, what these black borders does. I don't think that SGC makes the best label, you know, aesthetically. But, you know, they're fine. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. So anyways, I'm not really purchasing any cards right now. I'm just not. I just don't think it's very an important thing for me to do right now. But at the same time, I do want to keep making YouTube videos. I do want to keep preaching SGC. I should be getting an order back sometime in about maybe 3 weeks. I'm really excited to get that back, and I'm really anxious to see how my Griffey graded. I made a video about a month and a half ago or so, 2 months ago, where I pulled a 89 Ken Griffey Jr. out of a pack, and the centering, the corners, and the edges look perfect. Even the hologram on the back is like perfectly centered, and it looks really nice. The only thing that I noticed is like there was like a little wrinkle right here, like a surface wrinkle. It didn't go through the card, so it's not a crease. So I'm very anxious to see how that grades out. I think I put a minimum grade of 8.5. If it didn't get that, then I didn't want it to be, you know, graded at all. So we'll just have to see. We'll see. Well, you know, we'll see how it goes. I wanted to talk about SGC, and I also wanted to talk about my channel, because SGC is the only card grading company that's open right now, to my knowledge. Beckett and PSA might have opened their doors by now. I'm not sure. I don't know. I could check that out and let you all know, but I'm sure you guys have your own computers and phones at home. You can check that out for yourself. But, you know, going back a week ago, they were the only one that was open, and a lot of people were sending in their cards to them for the first time. And a lot of people are getting their first submissions back already. And from what I've seen, you know, from the channels and stuff like that, everybody seems to really like them. And something that I want to point out to you guys, if you guys aren't familiar with the prices and the stuff that's been going on with SGC, they're right up there with everybody else. I mean, and they have been for a long time. So anybody says that SGC resale isn't up there, or it's not as good, you're just fooling yourself, man. Because if you really look at the prices and what cards are selling for, you're talking about SGC 10s are right up there with BGS 95s, you know, or even higher most of the time. And if you look at the graded 9 grades, they're almost the same across the board. I mean, literally dollar for dollar, you know, especially if you break down cards and sales and you know, recent histories, and then, you know, averages and stuff like that. I mean, they're all very similar. So, I could go ahead and actually show that to you guys if I really wanted to. But, you know, just do it, check it out for yourself. You know, you can easily do that yourself. Something I want to talk to you guys today about is, the 89 Griffey Upper Deck. This card is shooting up in value right now, big time, especially the grades. If you go to filter and then you go to the sold items, you're gonna see a huge difference in price. I think 2 months ago, I mean, these cards are selling for a whole lot more money now. Let me pull up. Let me find a 9. It could be a SGC or anything, just a 9 right there. There's a PSA 9 right there. This card was selling for about $100 less than a month ago. It says best offer. I'm not sure exactly how much it sold for, but you know, it looks like it was 175 from what I can tell. Let's try to find another one. It's a PSA 8 for $100, you know. So it's almost gone down a whole grade for the same kind of money. There's a 9.5 right there for $279. I think that's been roughly about the price has been for a minute. But there's a PSA 9 right there, $168.50. Some of the PSA 10s right now, I mean, they're being bid on, and they're over thousands of dollars. There's a PSA 10, 38 bids for $1,100. You know, these cards were selling for about $700 a month ago. So the Griffey cards, the 89 Upper Decks, they've really shot up in value. And I wanted to point that out. I'm going to go ahead and do a search for SGC 10 and see what kind of, you know, how much those are getting bidded on, if there is any. So no, there's not any that are getting bid on, but the asking prices are up there. So we'll go to filter. We'll see what, if any of them have sold recently for 10s. You know, this is not a 10 pristine. This is just a 10. I'll zoom it in right now. 10 gem mint, and this is saying 1,600. So you know, I don't know what those Griffey PSA 10s are going to eventually, you know, end up bidding at, and what's the final price going to be. But you're looking at 1,600 right here. So is SGC 10s outselling the PSA 10s now? This one, it said it sold for $455. I don't know how long ago that was. That was way back in February. So yeah, that was a long time ago already, you know, more than 2 months ago. But yeah, this card has really picked up in value recently. I think it's about time too, because you know what, it's like it's the iconic card. This card used to actually book for more, you know, in 1999, you know, and they're definitely not hard to, you know, easy to get, you know, if you're going to be buying boxes and stuff. Even the boxes, the prices, especially like the baseball card exchange boxes, they've really gone up in value. If you're trying to buy a box of the 89 Upper Deck, you know, I bought mine when I did my opening. I think it was in March or February, and I spent $200 on it. Now they're selling for about $350. So they've almost doubled in price already. I think you can still get the box, the high series box, for less than $200. So I think that's definitely a good option. From what I've seen in the videos that I've seen, it really doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't. You could get lucky and get, you know, 1 or 2 Griffies even in the high series box. It just depends. I've seen boxes that have you know, not a whole lot of rookies at all. The rookies are like from number 1 in the set to like 28 or something. I don't know exactly. I forgot. But, you know, if you get a box that has a lot of rookies in it, you know, and you see a lot of that little star, then, you know, chances are you're going to get a Griffey, you know. But if you're opening pack after pack after pack and you're not seeing any rookies, it's not a good sign. So sometimes the way that they packaged them, you know, they had the sheets and they would cut them and then, you know, shuffle them up a little bit and put them in the packs. Well, you know, if you got, you know, section A and B and D in your box or whatever, and, you know, it's kind of weird how it all works out, but usually you get a lot of rookies or you don't. Or, you know, sometimes it's in the middle, but if you don't have, you know, very many at all, then you really don't have a good chance. So, so SGC, man, the prices are up there. You know, they're just as good as Beckett and PSA right now. I'm not going to say that it's like that for every single card, but, I mean, if you're looking at some of the, you know, bigger, the more important cards, they're right up there, man. So, yeah, it's a good thing to see. I'm really pleased with that. Going back to my channel, like I said, man, I mean, less than a couple weeks ago, I only had like 50 subscribers. And I shot up, like, within a week to like 75. And I got a lot of them, you know, from some of my older SGC videos, because there's a lot of people that are looking out right now and trying to find out what they can about them, and watching, you know, submission reveals, or you just name it. You know, everybody's really interested in SGC right now, and for good reason. I think they're opening up a lot of people's eyes, and I definitely am glad that I've done my part and try to help people out. talking about the future of my channel. I could buy cards and I could open cards right now and do that kind of stuff, or just show off cards and like what I'm doing right now and just talk to you guys and stuff. But what I really want to try to work on is my editing and my how do I say it? I want to work on my skills as far as like making videos. I want to be able to edit them. I want to be able to make good thumbnail pictures and then, put them up, and that's one of the reasons that I actually doing this video right now. I'm going to be testing it out. I try to take some pictures and, hopefully it all turns out okay. And, I can put up a good thumbnail pic for this video. So I was at work last few nights and I really been thinking about things that I want to talk about in my videos. And we're in a pandemic and a lot of people are like kind of like locked down right now. And so I just kind of I got a pad out and I just started writing down ideas of stuff to make for a video. This one right here, it says sports cards values, 5 major criterias. So I went ahead and made that video and I had a lot of fun doing that video. Hopefully anybody that watched it enjoyed it and they got some good information out of it. And it was mainly geared for beginners and stuff like that. So and anybody that's new to the hobby, hopefully that video helped them out. And this is the Dream Team video. I made that one and I didn't, I don't have anything like special effects in there and stuff like that, or I didn't put up clips of any players. I didn't do anything, fancy in it. It was just me and pen and paper and I was talking. And hopefully, people can appreciate that. But at the same time, I know when I watch videos, I like to have a little bit of, some glamour and some player activity and stuff like that. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on as, a YouTuber and a content creator. I'm going to be working on that kind of stuff. So I don't think I need to block the cards. I'll just keep pointing them on the cards so you guys can check them out and stuff like that. So... yeah, I have a whole bunch of different ideas for videos, and it has nothing to do with me buying cards or, that kind of thing. Like this one right here, I'm talking about my future collection goals. Basically like what I want my set collection to look like. I think at some point as a collector, you kind of hit a plateau where like there's nothing really else that I need or want. I have everything that I like and want or need. But if you're a mixed collector like I am, I collect Bonds, Griffey, 90s inserts. I invest a little bit in the newer rookies and some of the rookies that are actually doing good things. Guys like this right here, Matt Chapman. I've put this card in my videos a lot of times, but Matt Chapman is such a good player, and he plays for a low budget team, the A's. And I mean, he's one of the top 2 or 3 third basemen in all of Major League Baseball. And I think that his rookie cards compared to Aaron Judge's and Acuna Jr.'s and Juan Soto's, they're a lot less expensive. And we all know that with the type of caliber player that Matt Chapman is, he's not going to stay in Oakland. He's going to end up going to a much bigger market team, whether it's Boston, possibly the Dodgers. Who knows where he's going to end up, but once he gets to a certain other team, and then he starts to excel there and do good things there, Matt Chapman has the ability to really go up in value quite a bit. And his value is not bad already because he's so good. But anyway, those are the type of players that I like to buy. I like to buy guys that aren't super up there yet, but they've definitely proven to me that they're like solid players and they're going to be around in the game for a long time. Nats, man, you did a video today or last night and you were talking about Luis Robert. And a lot of people are really buying into him right now. And they're, I've heard people call him, he's like the next Ken Griffey Jr. And, he hasn't even played a single, major league game yet. I don't buy into that. And I'm not talking just to you, Nats, man. I'm just, talking to everybody here. But you got a guy like this who's on the same team, the White Sox, even though he's in Cubs uniform right here. He's played a rookie year. He's hit over 30 home runs. And this card right here, even like a 10 gem mint, Bowman Chrome refractor, pre-rookie, I can't sell that card for over $100, and people are buying into Luis Robert, who hasn't even played a game yet. I think that, you know, stuff like that, you know, in the hobby, it's like, wow, you know, things just surprise me sometimes. It makes no sense, you know. Sometimes, you know, you try to use a little bit of common logical sense, and I use that word a lot. But yeah, sometimes there is none, and it, you know, it's just, it is what it is. So, you know, cards like this, I had an orange one, and I sold that one. I think I sold it for like $40, and it was numbered to 25, and it was either a 9.5 or a 10, I don't remember, but really nice card, and it was slabbed and beautiful and everything, but it just didn't sell for as much as I wanted it to, so I was kind of disappointed. So I'm just going to hold on to those two until maybe he makes a bigger splash in the hobby. So anyway, going back to my list here, you know, I want to do a video of what I basically want my future, you know, collection to be like, and what some of the key cards that I want in it, and I made lists and that type of thing. I want to do a video about undervalued players. You know, have any of you guys ever thought about buying a David Wright rookie card? You know, he's the captain for the Mets. You know, he's not Derek Jeter, but he played third base, and he had a great career, and he played for the Mets for a long time and in outstanding numbers. But he just doesn't have much hobby love, you know? So to me, he's like somebody that's super undervalued. You know, a card like the 1968 Topps Johnny Bench rookie card. You know, he shares the card with somebody in the card's landscaped, but so is the Nolan Ryan. The Nolan Ryan's a, you know, $1,000 plus card. And the Johnny Bench you can pick up really dirt cheap compared to that. You know, you can pick it up for like $200. You know, and it's crazy because Johnny Bench to me is like the greatest all-time catcher, and Nolan Ryan's probably not even the greatest all-time pitcher. But you know, you got it's such a huge price difference in the cards, and it's like, wow, you know, it just trips me out sometimes. So you know, those are just a couple examples of what I want to talk about when it comes to, you know, players being undervalued, not only in the hobby and sports cards, but also in their careers. So I'm interested in doing a video about that. Another thing that I want to talk about in a video is I want to talk about pitchers, and I want to talk about their prices in the hobby. I've noticed a big spike in Garrett Cole recently, and I think that some of his cards are really going up there and selling for a good amount of money. Justin Verlander definitely picked up a lot of interest last year, and you know, Nolan Ryan's been, you know, on top for a long time as far as like prices in the hobby go for pitchers. But you know, going back to some of the old-time players, like Bob Feller, I mean, that was the first guy that they clocked at 100 miles an hour. That's a huge deal. You know, his rookie year is like in 1937 or something like that. So they didn't really make cards at that time, but you can pick up a 1948 Bowman or a 1952 Topps Bob Feller for dirt cheap, man. I mean, like really super low. You know, like you would think, wow, a 1952 Topps Bob Feller, that you're going to spend a lot of money on that card. You know, you won't. You'll spend like $100, man. They're real cheap, you know. And I understand because it's not a rookie card and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, wow, you know, the pitchers in this hobby are so undervalued. And so I want to do a video about that. I want to go pick through Beckett, and I want to, you know, point out some inconsistencies on the pricing. I want to do a video about that. I think the next video that I do, because, you know, we're going to be probably quarantined for some time still. You know, it might be another couple weeks. It might be May 1st. It might be June 1st. But have you guys ever sat back and thought about how many different baseball movies there are? There's just like so many, and you really don't think about it. But if you're a baseball fan and there's no games on, and there's a lot of baseball movies that you haven't seen, check them out. You know what I mean? I want to do a top like 10 videos, or yeah, a top 10 video of my favorite Major League Baseball movies. And I think that's going to be my first project where I'm actually like doing some really different stuff on YouTube and using like the laptop and doing some editing and putting in some clips. What I think I'll probably do is I'll put a picture of the movie or the title, you know, type of thing, and then you know, I'll talk about the movie a little bit, but try not to give anything away in case anybody hasn't seen it yet. And then I'm going to give people like an opportunity to close their eyes and their ears if they haven't seen it yet. And then I want to put up what I think is my favorite part in that movie, whether it's like, you know, 30 seconds long or a minute long, maybe at the most like 2 minutes. But I want to just share with you guys like my top 10 favorite baseball movies. And then what I want to do is I want to show you my favorite part of those movies. and then maybe talk about why, you know, I chose them as, you know, one of my top 10s. I think that would be really fun for me to do. And then I would like to just go ahead and name off like almost every baseball movie that I can think of. So that way, if there's any baseball movies that, you know, you haven't seen, you can check them out, you know what I mean? And you'll have an idea of, you know, what they're called, you know, or something like that. Like just so for instance, you know, it's one of the older movies is called the Bad News Bears. And I actually haven't seen the entire movie. So, you know, if I'm on my days off and I'm at home and I'm really not doing much, you know, and I'm missing baseball and I haven't seen that movie, maybe I'll, you know, take an hour and a half and I'll watch that movie, you know. Or one of the other movies that I haven't seen is like The Pride of the Yankees. It's a really old movie. I think Babe Ruth is actually in the movie. I think it was made in like in 1942 or something like that. But it's it's like a biography about Lou Gehrig. So I think that would be really sweet to watch. You know, I mean, just there's some baseball movies that I haven't seen yet, and a lot of them I have, but I would like to share with you guys like what my top 10 is, and and do a video about that. I'm really looking forward to doing that. So look for that to be coming up. And none of this stuff is all about just baseball cards. You know, it's just about baseball in general. I started fishing for ideas about, you know, videos that I can make, and I came up with one that I thought that would be pretty fun to do. I wanted to talk about maybe like the best World Series, like do like a top 5, talk about the year and who was in it, and why I think it's one of the best World Series of all time. Yeah, some of them I haven't seen. A lot of World Series I haven't seen. You know, I've recently watched like the 75 and 76 again. I recently watched some of the 2014 Giants. You know, Madison Bumgarner was absolutely lights out. You know, he almost single-handedly won the Giants, you know, their World Series in 2014. So, I think that would be something that's fun to do. Maybe, you know, do something like that. Another idea for my a video to make is, you know, what was my favorite home run derby? There's a lot of them that I really liked watching a lot, and I watch them sometimes. You know, just when I'm bored, you know, I can watch stuff like that at work because I have a pretty easy job. I got a lot of downtime at work, so a lot of times I'm watching YouTube and I'm watching videos, and you know, some of the old home run derbies that, you know, were back in the day where it was like one swing, and if it wasn't a home run, it was an out. How they used to do it, you know, I love those home run derbies because you got to see the big, strong guys hit bombs. And now it's, you know, they're still hitting bombs, but it's a little bit more fast paced, and there's a little bit more like more of like a fit factor involved. You know what I mean? Because the guys, they actually prepare for that and they train for that, and you have to be a little bit more, have more stamina. So I think it takes away from the real long ball, you know. If you go back and watch like the 1994 home run derby, and you watch Frank Thomas hit a 520-foot bomb, you know, in Atlanta, you're going to think to yourself, man, I missed this, you know. If you were alive at that time and you were, you know, able to watch that, you know, I'm sure that a lot of people miss it, you know. And a lot of people like the new format too and stuff, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, that was an idea, you know. What was my favorite home run derbies, home run moments, stuff like that. Maybe I'll do a video about fantasy baseball or fantasy football and sports betting, you know. I don't actually do any of that stuff, but I remember, you know, in 1998, I actually did have a fantasy football team, and it was just for fun. And, you know, I think I had like Mike Allstott as my running back. You know, he used to be a running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, you know, it was cool, you know, and maybe I'll consider doing that for fantasy baseball this year, you know, maybe talk about that. I definitely want to do this video right here. Like I said, I got a notepad that's real thick, so I'm just kind of shouting out ideas. I'm really looking for any kind of feedback possible from you guys. If you guys want to see me make these videos, or if one stands out to you in your mind, like, yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to hear your opinion about that. And, you know, this or that, you know, please feel free to leave a comment, you know, and, let me know what you guys think. And I'll try to do videos about some of the stuff that I'm talking about. One of my video ideas was a Hall of Fame debate, you know, Pete Rose, Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Fred McGriff, Don Mattingly, A-Rod, You know, what are my feelings about them being in the Hall of Fame? You know, do I think that they should be in the Hall of Fame? Do I think that they not should, you know, do I think anything was worse between Rose or the Astros, or, you know, Rose and Bonds, or, you know, Bonds and McGwire, you know, in those types of conversations. I think in order for something to be a debate, it has to be where, you know, multiple, you know, opinions and views can go either way. And, you know, there's definitely stuff that's debatable and there's stuff that's not debatable. Like, you know, Jeff Kent makes a strong case for, you know, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Whereas, you know, somebody like, trying to think of somebody that's like kind of close, but not nearly close enough. I don't know. Somebody like, who was that Pirates guy that was really good for a little bit? He was a white guy, kind of tall, skinny. Bell, Jay Bell, I think that was his name. You know, he didn't have the career numbers to get there. He was definitely talented and good, but, you know, he didn't make it. Guys like Carlos Gonzalez on the Rockies, great player, man. He had a really good career so far, but, you know, just overall, he had a couple really hot seasons, and that was about it, you know. I think Todd Helton would be a good one. You know, he's borderline. So I think that would be a real fun video to talk about, and do that one. Maybe a LeBron, Jordan, or Kobe GOAT topic. I think that would be kind of fun to do. I'm not a big basketball guy, but, you know, anybody that really, truly, you know, knows about basketball, they're going to say there is no debate. It's Jordan all day. But at the same time, you know what, you know, they had different teams and different eras and stuff like that. And, you know, if you put LeBron in Jordan's shoes, you know, would he have been able to do the same thing? You know, there's definitely stuff to talk about. I think LeBron's body of work, you know, for his career and all those NBA finals that he's gone to, even though he didn't win them all or even go to game 7s like Jordan, you know, whatever. I think that there's definitely some room for debate in that. So, I think that a lot of people might be interested in what I have to say about that. I'm not too sure. Another fun topic I think that would be fun to talk about, boxing versus UFC. You know, I think that UFC kind of killed boxing, and why I think that happened, and, you know, do a video about that. I think another fun video to do would be talking about Tom Brady and Manning and Drew Brees, and, you know, who's the real GOAT and what ifs. I think that would be fun to talk about. Let's see, I'm trying to read here. This one says SGC, how it's all looking compared to PSA 10s. So yeah, I was just going to do like a follow-up video on the prices on SGC, compare the prices for the 10s or the PSAs versus like SGC 10s on the Griffey card, the Jordan, and the Tom Brady. You know, this is one that I know that I'm going to do. I want to do a video about this right here. It says 3,000 hits, 500 home run club. Players, the best of the best. So, you know, there's not that many players that have 3,000 hits and 500, you know, home runs. Barry Bonds does not have 3,000 hits. Ken Griffey Jr. does not have 3,000 hits. You know, would Barry Bonds have had 3,000 hits? Yeah, he would have if he didn't get walked so much. And he was close. If he would have, you know, maybe played another year, he would have got it. But I think that when you're, if you look back in history and you talk about the 3,000 hits and the 500 home runs, and if for those players that have that in their career, man, you're talking about the creme de la creme, man. You're talking the best of the best, you know. And not that, you know, anybody that didn't get that was close, like Griffey and Bonds, aren't the best, but, you know, I think that those guys are a special group. So I want to do a video about those guys that are in that group. Ichiro versus Rose, you know, who's the hit king? A lot of people think that, you know, Ichiro has an argument because, you know, he played in Japan and he, you know, those are professional hits, not maybe, you know, American professional, but he actually has more hits than Rose if you take his, you know, Japan hits. And but then again, if you take Pete Rose's like minor league hits, you know, then he has more. So it's definitely a pretty interesting topic and a debate, and you know, it'd be something to talk about. So I thought that might be something fun to do. I wanted to do a video about Jose Canseco and just talk about Jose Canseco and his career, and you know, how he got blackballed from MLB in the book, and, you know, all that stuff, and just talking about Jose Canseco, because I really feel like he, you know, Jose Canseco should be more loved and praised and valued and you know, forgiven for, you know, for stuff, and I think that everybody gives him like the raw cold shoulder, and I don't like that. So I'd like to do a video about Jose Canseco. Another video that I want to talk about is the home run record debates. You know, the single season, the career. You know, who should really have them? Really, asterisks. You know, 61. Even going back to Roger Maris. You know, I mean, he hit 61 in 162 games. Not 154 like Babe Ruth did. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of debate about the home run and the home run records. You know, and I like to talk about my beliefs on that. So I think that'd be a fun video to do. And at some point I'm going to be getting my SGC return back. So obviously I'm going to be doing a video about that. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully that comes sooner than later, but I'm not expecting it for probably about another 3 months or so. This one says like my investment cards on what I think that, you know, have really good opportunities you could buy cheap and then you know, maybe flip in a couple years or you know, that type of thing. So yeah, I came up with all these different ideas when I was at work, so it was pretty fun to think about and talk about or write down. And let me know in the comments, guys, if there's any of those videos that you are definitely interested in seeing. If you only want to see me talk about sports cards and SGC and stuff like that, I can continue doing that. But going back to some of my older videos, like pretty much I've talked about so much stuff in the hobby. I've talked about pretty much every single thing that there is to talk about. I've done videos for beginners, and I've labeled it that way. I've talked about the grading. I've talked about short prints. I've talked about refractors. I've talked about in between rookie years. I've talked about tops. I've talked about Beckett. I've talked about everything. So if you really want to hear me talk about anything, I'm sure there's a video, you know, for you. You know, it shouldn't be too hard to find. You know, just check out some of my older videos and stuff like that, and you should be able to find just about anything you want to hear about. You know, in any of my videos, pretty much. So, let me know, guys. Let me know if you want, if you guys want me to make any of those videos that I talked about. I'm definitely gonna make some of them. So, and I might make remake a couple of the ones that I've already done. You know, do an update. You know, stuff like that. So, anyway, I think that the first one that I'm gonna probably do is either the 500 Home Run Club or possibly the movie one. I think the movie one would be really good to do because I think that we have so much time to kill, most of us, and I just want you guys to like sit down and think about like all the baseball movies that are out there and which ones you haven't seen, you know. And I'm sure that there's a lot of us out there that haven't seen them all, and maybe take note of it and write it down and make it a point to maybe watch it sometime. And I think that would be really fun. And let you guys know what I think are my top 10 favorite movies, and then you know, kind of talk about that a little bit. So, anyways, that's all I got to say, man. I look forward to making the videos and being a better YouTuber and making different types of content. And it doesn't have to be all about sports cards all the time, you know. I think right now in this pandemic, and this is just my opinion, and you guys can definitely do whatever you want to do. But I think that everybody should, you know, kind of slow down their roll with buying sports cards a little bit. You know, if you're financially well off and it's no big deal and everybody in your family's good, you know, and everything's cool, you know, and everything's going back to normal soon anyways, you know. But at the same time, you know, if you have family that needs help, you know, whether it's your uncle, you know, that you're not even that super close to, but he's, you know, he's having to go to food banks and stuff like that, you know, I think it's more important that you take care of your family right now than buying baseball cards, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure that all of us have somebody in our family that could definitely use the handout, you know, the support, the appreciation, you know, that, you know, they might have. You know, and I think in these times, you know, especially in the hard times, you know, if you're a little bit down on your luck and you need the help and, you know, you got somebody that's looking out for you like a guardian angel, and, you know, it becomes so much more appreciative, you know, because you could be doing all the right things and you can make a, you know, hell of a living, and it's just the type of field that you're in right now is just not, it's not something that's required or mandatory. And, you know, you're not doing so hot right now, you know, and it's nothing that you did, you know. You could be a totally good, solid person and not have any, you know, real bad, you know, vices or anything like that, and just not be doing so hot right now. So, it's something that, you know, I think that we should all think about, and you know, come together, and especially families, man. Families should be tight, and I know that I have some people in my family that, you know, definitely could use some help right now and stuff like that. So that, you know, it's just, it is what it is. So that's why I'm not really you know, buying stuff right now. And anyway, so yeah, I figured, you know, why not make some videos about just about baseball, and talk about movies, and talk about, you know, debates, and have some fun with that, and at the same time, you know, talk about SGC. And if anybody has any questions about SGC whatsoever, feel free to message me in the comments, and ask me questions, or you guys can reach out to Natsman72, Guns and Collectibles. You guys can reach out to Elite Co. or Guns and Baubles and Cards. There's a lot of us that are, you know, that have sent a lot of stuff into SGC and got a lot of cards graded, that have a good, you know, knowledge of SGC. You can even call SGC and ask them yourself. You know, they're open, their customer service is, you know, very, very good. You know, just call SGC if you have any questions. You know, I'm sure that they're a lot more qualified than myself to answer them. So, you know, feel free to give them a buzz, and if you have any questions, and have fun with the hobby. You know, that's all I gotta say. Have a nice day. Look forward to making some of those videos for you guys in the near future. And yeah, give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys want to see. And that's it. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Peace.